This video is brought to you by Loot Crate, the monthly subscription box for epic geek and gamer items, plus pop culture gear. Another Rogue One trailer has landed, and as always, let's get stuck into 10 things potentially missed. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's not. I've talked about this, but yeah, it's just something I'm stuck calling these videos. I wish there was a way out, but I've really painted myself into a corner. So we're going to touch on some details about Jyn Erso's father, whether the Death Star will fire, the return of Darth Vader, other stuff, as well as potential Star Wars spin-off movies that could be in the works. And possibly potential spoilers for all this, I guess. And also, I'll be giving away a Loot Crate and revealing who won the one from last week. Okay, I just want to point out, a lot of Rogue One stuff I've already covered in previous videos, including what powers the Death Star, different locations, who dies, a whole lot more. Now I'm not going to retread much of that, but I will link them below if you want to check them out. I do though want to revisit Jedha, which has been confirmed as a moon, not a planet. The reason we're seeing a fallen Jedi statue is because it's the location of an ancient Jedi pilgrimage. This place is steeped in Force history, thought to be the location of the first Jedi temple, according to Star Wars locations. I'm not sure though how this can be the case, because apparently Luke Skywalker is also at the first Jedi temple. They can't both be the first Jedi temple. This is just like that who invented the telephone first thing. Was it Alexander Graham Bell or was it Steve Jobs? They're both dead, so we'll probably never know. It's also a place where kyber crystals can be found. They're used to power lightsabers as well as the Death Star. In a previous trailer, there's word that a major weapons test is imminent.
A major weapons test is imminent.
They're obviously referring to the Death Star, and it looks as if that message is coming from Galen Erso, but more on him in a bit. That weapons test, as I mentioned in my last video, looks to take place on Jedha, and their version of Mecca is probably going to be destroyed. Maybe as retaliation to some of the people who lived there, or maybe someone accidentally leaned on a button. I don't know. I don't think we'll be seeing the Death Star at full power though, otherwise the entire moon would be obliterated. Plus people wouldn't be banging on so much about Alderaan if it wasn't the first. I am still wondering though what the rebel mission is going to be here. I've speculated that it could be to intercept kyber crystals, but maybe it's just to warn the local inhabitants. I mean, they probably already know that things aren't going to end well. The giant ominous spaceship is it's a pretty clear indicator. Okay, so Galen Erso. Now, if you want to know more about him, there's a Rogue One prequel book out mid next month. But in summary, he's one of the most intelligent men in the galaxy in relation to energy-focused research. During the Clone Wars, Orson Krennic, played by Australia's own Ben Mendo Mendelsohn. I gotta say, it's disappointing that there's no Australian accent on him. I guess there's no planet Australia in the Star Wars universe. But whatever, why would that bother me? I'm happy that it's all British people and American people and Asian stereotypes.
What did you say?
Anyways, he rescues the Erso family from a separatist kidnapping, with them probably wanting him to help develop the Death Star technology. Krennic then uses this as leverage to get Galen Erso to work for him, but obviously he wasn't happy that his research wasn't being used, for something good, to power converters or something dumb, I don't know.
But I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
And so he contacts the Rebel Alliance, who then rescue his daughter to go and see what's up. Before we talk about Darth Vader, I just want to mention that I feel this trailer does a much better job of letting people know who aren't Star Wars fans that this isn't a sequel to The Force Awakens. I mean, there's the obvious things, like seeing Darth Vader, as opposed to the back of his head, but there's also little details like the inclusion of AT-STs, an AP-7 droid, who are like a shittier version of C-3PO. They've shown up in the original trilogy, plus Star Wars Rebels. And we also get Y-Wings. Other details that are twists on some old Star Wars concepts are a bowcaster, like a larger version of the one Chewbacca has.
I like this thing.
And a white Admiral Akbar. Well, they're actually called Mon Calamari. Get some bloody beta-carotene into your mate. That's the stuff in carrot and pumpkin that if you eat too much, it turns you orange. See, it's not just trailer breakdowns happening here. Sometimes we learn about vegetables. Okay, so Darth Vader. Here we get him striding forward like a man in his prime. He's just bloody shrugged off that limb loss and the extensive burns like it was no thing. I mean, after all the screaming and crying. The design looks to be a complete recreation of the original suit, because yes, there is apparently differences between all versions. The brim sits a little lower, and the chest plate is slightly different each time, plus probably other things. I think the cape is more forward, kind of over the shoulders. But yeah, traditionally, the original suit is the worst. You know, comparatively, when you really look at it. It's all scuffed and misshapen. Plus in the original version, and I think they've fixed this in some of the re-releases, you can actually see the actor's eyes through the lenses. That probably came down to budget and time constraints, but basically, this recreation is like how you remember Darth Vader looks, all furious and striding about, as opposed to a British man in a clunky suit, turning wildly, no doubt wondering what the hell was supposed to be happening in all of his scenes.
What? 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 What?
But speaking of, David Prowse, the man who originally played Vader, the body at least, is not returning. He's getting on in years, plus he burnt a lot of bridges over at Lucasfilm for leaking story secrets and talking too candidly about the projects. It's long and complicated, I'm not gonna get into it. Hayden Christensen is also out. He wore the suit in Revenge of the Sith. So this time we're getting Spencer Wilding, standing at just over 2 meters tall, with again the voice dubbed over by James L. Jones.
What?
You probably know Spencer Wilding's work, even if you don't recognize the face. He's a guy who's been doing this for a while. He knows what he's doing. He played the blue alien who gave Peter Quill a kicking in Guardians of the Galaxy, and also Falq from Jupiter Ascending, or as I like to call it, who greenlit this. What a crap film, probably. I haven't seen it. Okay, so I've been meaning to do another video on potential Star Wars spin-off movies for a while now, and this seems like a good a time as any. Now, instead of just going, hey, maybe they should make a Bosk spin-off movie. He's the greatest lizard-headed bounty hunter in all the galaxy. I mean, maybe they should, I don't know. But what I want to do is look at the rumored movies and the likelihood of seeing each of those versions. Okay, so the next spin-off movie is a lock. We all know it's the Han Solo Go Solo film, title unconfirmed, in 2018. That's well underway. But the thing is, it supposedly wasn't to be the next movie that Disney had lined up. That project initially looked to be the Boba Fett standalone film that Josh Trank was unceremoniously dumped from. I mean, he says he left on his own accord, but Come on. Though Disney has never confirmed, ever, that we'll be getting a Boba Fett film, rumours have been circulating about this project since the spin-off movies were announced back in 2013. Joe Johnston, director of such films as The Rocketeer and Captain America, the Captain of America, who actually created the character of Boba Fett, had been pushing Lucas to allow him to make one for years. It was thought that the film would take place either between A New Hope and Empire, or Empire and Jedi. The latter actually sounding better, to me at least, as that would be in the time in which he's attempting to deliver Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt, which was the subject of his storyline in Shadows of the Empire, and had him fending off other bounty hunters. It was pretty sweet. Whatever the project is though, it's been delayed, according to head of Lucasfilm herself, Kathleen Kennedy, and it remains to be seen whether we'll be getting it at all. But at the same time, I'm still not sure this is a movie that I personally need to see. Another project rumored that's kind of died off recently is a Yoda prequel movie. The idea being that Rogue One is the war film, Han Solo Goes Solo is a western, and the third is spiritual. How far back this movie would extend is unclear, but presumably before The Phantom Menace. I think what Lucasfilm have been doing is testing the waters a bit in terms of what people are interested in seeing through all the supplementary material. We're even getting a Yoda story coming up in issue 26 of the main Marvel Star Wars comic. I think though the most likely scenario is an Obi-Wan film, as again they've been testing the waters with that character in comic form, plus it looks like he's going to be showing up in Rebels.
I see him.
Twin sons.
And Ewan McGregor is clearly keen to return, and it appears he's been in conversation with the studio.
You had the conversations?
I'm not sure that I'm at liberty to say, really. but I think that I'm very interested in doing that. That would be great.
Also, I'm still of the firm belief that Rey is a Kenobi, and that the idea of that will be revealed in episode 8, and then we'll get the Obi-Wan spin-off movie set during his exile after Revenge of the Sith to expand on how the hell that they're related. I think it's similar to the way that we got the death of Han Solo, spoiler alert, and then there was renewed interest in the character, so we're getting a movie about him, and maybe an Uncharted style game with him as the lead. That's the rumour. That's the rumour. Even if it's not an Obi-Wan film, I think whatever it is will be Jedi focused. All signs point to this being the direction that the studio wants to go in. Director AJ Edwards, who it's been speculated would be directing a Star Wars film, mentioned on Reddit that he was in very early talks for a Mace Windu film, the most boring character in the galaxy. Now I know he has proven more interesting in other source materials, but my god, Samuel L. Jackson has never been duller. Also, Zack Snyder was even said to have met with Lucasfilm about a Seven Samurai-style Star Wars project. But this one would be with all Jedi. Neither of these things, though, have been confirmed. Okay, before we give some stuff away, let's do an ad. Surprise, you're getting advertised to. You know, it helps pay my bills. My router is actually steam-powered and requires a lot of hot steam. I just realized I'm not really sure how a steam engine works. What does it, like, burn coal or wood or bread or something? Anyways, this month's Loot Crate is horror themed and comes with 6 to 8 exclusive items of licensed gear, apparel, and collectibles, including The Walking Dead. Head on over to lootcrate.com/MrSundayMovies and enter the promo code SUNDAY for 10% off any box. And here's the winner of last week's Loot Crate. Just private message me these details and it's all yours. And if you want to win next week's box, just leave any comment below. It might be on how much Darth Vader you want to see in Rogue One and what you want him to do, or even what would you like the next Star Wars spin-off movie to be. And if you're interested, I have a podcast linked below that comes out every Monday called The Weekly Planet, where we'll be talking this trailer in depth, as well as all the latest movie and comic and TV news. But thanks for watching this. I appreciate it. Take care.